Heads up tonight. Could get a little chippy out there. Let's win that first shift though. Show some energy.
Going a little Jungle B with Cody CC.
Oh, there's a lot going on with Cody CC. Stay out of the Jungle B penalty box.
Game on!
Game on, eh? Grab the nets, sticks in the middle. Time for the episode 19 of Straight Off the Pipe. Proud part of the Heavy Hockey Network. As always, I am Dash. In the box beside me, Cellblock 99. We got Michael Thomas Dursa. Buddy, the Oils can't lose. Here in Edmonton, we got nice bison. And you apparently have some sort of bromance going on with a Sloth's Flame fan. You two looked like you were playing podcast footsie last week. That was a little bit gross.
Oh, so you're going to go down the you're not a fan of Jerome McGinley train, are you?
Oh, the fan of Jerome McGinley. Is that where we start with this?
I guess.
Who was that clown shoe? Where did you find that guy?
Jerome?
I don't know. Jason Peanut Pigskin Pucks? I don't know. Sounds like a guy obsessed with the capital letter P to me.
Yeah, that's a lot of P's going on there, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You look lost without me, buddy. I'm just saying.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's back to Oiler talk now. We're getting close.
Getting close to the regular season?
We're getting close, man.
We're getting close. Yeah, that top 5 list you guys were sharing was interesting for sure. Jerome McGinley, of course, that's a guy on the list. I don't know how he leaves Joe Nieuwendyk off of that list. You've got one center and one Stanley Cup in the history of your franchise, and the guy that was the center for that team can't make your top 5. You guys he had Mike Vernon in that top 5? What's going on there? The only top 5 list Mike Vernon's ever been on is like at Cowboys nightclub in Calgary, and it's, like top 5 most consumed, top 5 amount of times you've been asked to leave. That was interesting. You guys playing like tummy sticks and tiddlywinks there. Like it, and ask Dursa to narrow down a list. Holy shit, brother! Like I gave you a top 10, and you come at me, bro, with a top 35 that night. Jason, if I'm to take his side at all on anything, he gives you a top 5 and you give him a top 14. Holy shit, man. You flip-flop more than Dustin Penner at IHOP.
Ooh. That's a hot take.
It's a hot pancake.
Yeah, they don't call them pancakes for nothing.
No, this is why I say it. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I hope you guys had fun.
He takes the Rock's cheat day and just applies that to every day, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's good. Who, Rick from Red Deer there, or what are you talking about?
No, Pens.
Oh, Penner, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, with the mustache they both contain, I could see the mistake I'd make there. Anyways.
I didn't.
Why is that guy coming at me on Twitter today? Who the hell? What a clown shoot.
Seriously. I didn't think we were going down this road at all, but I'll say
yeah,
this.
I know. I don't plan you for anything. How fun would that be?
The funniest thing I've ever heard Penner say was on Hockey Night in Canada when Scott Oak asked him, how did you get in such great shape? Well, he says, I've cut back on the wheat-based drinks and Sour Patch Kids. that was the funniest thing I've ever heard on After Hours ever. Like, oh, man.
The wheat-based drinks, the weed, and the Sour Patch Kids, maybe. With Penner, you never know. He was a beauty, man.
Yeah. I was at one game that I'll never forget of his where Hemsky got kind of gooned. So he picks up this guy from the Stars, picks him up with his left hand, hits him with his right. The fight's over. One punch. That was it. Same game. He walks down, and he's like on an impossible angle on Turco. And I don't know why the fuck he was way on the right, but he's coming in way on a sharp angle, and he doesn't have any net. Turco's got him covered, and all of a sudden the puck goes in over Marty's shoulder, and he scores a goal. So I think he was an assist away from the Gordie Howe hat trick that night. So I happened to see him play.
Not the only time in his career.
I happened to see him play a pretty good hockey game once.
Once or twice.
Yeah.
So you watched the game. I hope Zach's okay. You heard anything?
I haven't. It was good to see him skate off on his own and not need a stretcher, though.
Yeah, agreed. But he looked pretty still when he hit the ice.
I think
It's scary.
I think he was holding his face because I don't think he had all his liquids inside his body anymore. I think he was bleeding pretty good.
Yeah, it's like we've talked about the need Zach would need from a crowd push this year to be able to play his old style a little bit. And I think every time that topic comes up, I talk under my breath about the fact that we may never see that same Zach Cassian again. And I hinted at this earlier in podcasts ago that I'm a recent dad. I'm a different dude now. I think about things differently and the risks I want to take. And Zach just had his second beautiful daughter and had an aggressive year last year, and comes out, and I hate to see something like this happen, man. Like I hope you're okay, Zach. But honestly, like, this is the type of thing that ends careers right here.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you
Unless
step
you want to
on,
go get his head beat in again.
anytime you step on that ice, something can happen. To me, that was a bit of a freak accident, and good to see him get off the ice, and I hope he's okay.
Yeah.
I hope it's not something that kind of derails him for a long time here. Hopefully it's not too serious. I think it's a good sign that he skated off the ice, by himself.
Yeah. Well, I'm no doctor, but I skated off the ice after a few concussions, and
me too.
That looked a little.
Me too. I mean, and
Just like that.
And I mean, he got up under his own, steam, but there was a lot of help getting off the ice by Cody Ceci and Duncan Keith there. So, yeah.
Well, at least Duncan Keith's good for something.
Hey, I mean, that's something that other guys could have got there to help carry him off, but it was Keith and Ceci that did it. So.
That's time on the ice that just doesn't show up in the WAR percentages and the stats, does it? That left shoulder you hand to your teammate to get him off the ice when he's a wet spaghetti noodle.
Yeah, it'll be a new stat coming up to keep Duncan Keith in the league another year. But
well, Ken Holland might invent that stat just so he can justify the top dollar he paid for that type of leadership right there.
There we are.
Hey, leadership. Duncan Keith's oozing it. Now that he's got a shot that he was fucking 2 weeks late for.
Yeah. I guess we're on the Duncan Keith train, so I'll say this: I the last game against Calgary, I missed the first period. I was doing cleaning my garage, but
sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, I got a little breakdown on it because I know lots of people want to give him flack, but so the first period, I don't think really any of our D were shining stars by any means, but in the second period, I saw a beautiful stretch pass from Nurse, who sprung JP for a breakaway around the 15-minute mark to no avail. And then I think it was the very next shift, Keith hit Cassian at the far blue line with another great stretch pass, also to no avail. That was at about the 13:50 mark. And then Lamborghini Perlini got another goal. I don't know. I don't think Stevie Wonder could keep him off the team with the way he's played. Keith also fed Draisaitl and Draisaitl to JP, and we have a hockey game. That made it 3-2. I wouldn't exactly call it a glorious assist on Duncan Keith's part. It was kind of a quick out, kind of mashed the puck up to Leon, and Leon made a nice play to JP to make it a hockey game.
What's your point?
Well, my point is Keith in back-to-back games has got an assist, so I don't know how I can. I don't know.
Assist tonight.
Tonight's was a nice assist. It was a clapper on net that got tipped in. I mean, we're not going to count that now?
No, we count those. There's no pictures on the score sheet. But if we're talking about Duncan Keith being able to execute a stretch pass here and there. Oh, A+, bro. Like, great. He can still pass a puck from time to time versus a bunch of AHLers to Zach Cassian at full speed. Dude, watch him try to break up 10 cycles in a row and see how many times he breaks up. Watch him try to close 10 gaps in a row and see how many gaps he closes. Dude, he doesn't look good out there. His skating isn't what it used to be. I fear what we have as our second line pairing after I've seen what Keith and Cece pull off here. And it's exactly what I told you was going to happen.
Did you watch tonight?
I did.
Did you zero in on him more?
I did, for sure. Did you see how he panicked and iced it all the time? Did you see how he took 2 stupid penalties? Did you see how he couldn't break up a cycle for
you think the second penalty was a stupid penalty?
Was it a good penalty?
Was it even a penalty? Or was it somebody, or is it somebody that's strong and just pushed his man to the ice? That's what I saw there.
Whatever, man. I did, yeah.
And they called that holding.
Call it what you want.
If he's holding the guy, why is he dropping his man?
You sound pretty fucking hypocritical that I can't count a picture on a score sheet for a goal, but you could all of a sudden talk about a picture on a score sheet for a penalty tonight, bro.
I'm looking at the play. I'm watching the play.
I can't watch Keith score a goal and tell you that it's a garbage assist.
It was a slap shot on net that got tipped in the net.
Way to go! He put it towards the broadside of a barn and it bounced.
No, it was right towards the middle of the net.
No credit to Ryan there at all. Yeah.
Ryan tipped it in. There's credit to him. I never took credit away from Derek Ryan, but you want to take credit away from...
Why are you trying to drive Ryan out of town? What's your deal tonight? Why are you... he's played well, man. It's you, podcast media around here, always trying to get guys out of this city, you know? Fucking Derek. Ryan played great. Get off his back, man.
What did they give you in the hospital there, my man?
You know what? I was bored on the LTIR, all right? I've had a lot of time to think. I've had a lot of time to watch. And you and that freaking Flames clown last week, you brought him on. He brought the energy level up from a 5 to a 3. I was in my hospital bed scrambling for the suck knob to try to turn it down. Like, man, he's coming at me on Twitter today like he tried to replace me. Buddy, you could not pod past my pinky finger.
Once I figure out what suck knob is, I'll be right with you.
Fubar, buddy.
Oh, okay. The old Fubar movie. Yeah. Oh.
You're on your toes, eh? You don't know where I'm going tonight. What's wrong with you?
No, you're throwing me off with some of the shit that's coming to your
We didn't talk all week, barely, hey? Usually we have some plan, we have some structure, and I don't know. I just didn't want to talk to you. Let's just drop the flippers and go.
You know, almost I said this to you earlier today, but I'll pretend like I never. It's making Tyson Barrie fly under the radar with everybody hot on Keith's ass.
Yeah, for sure. Eh? He's got a shield beside him.
I thought tonight our D was a better as a 6-man unit. I didn't really have much issue with our defense. What did Vancouver get tonight? It was a couple of power play goals, and one of them was on the back of Duncan Keith. I thought Chris Russell, in his first game back was all right, but that interference call, he earned that. That was not his finest hour, and Dave Tippett's on the bench shaking his head.
Exactly. No, I totally agree.
I got to ask you something. It's 2021, right? Why the fuck can't we invent a goalie mask that doesn't come off when you need it the most? Like, Smith gets bumped and it's off, and he's running the risk of smashing his head into the ice and being on LTIR too. Like, how many times did his lid come off tonight? Like 3 or 4? Like,
that's all part of the strategy. That's a veteran move. That's like a free timeout.
Yeah.
Make sure one of those straps is a little loose. You give her a little wiggle and bang.
But
45 seconds.
That first collision where
automatic whistle. Come on. You think this is Mike Smith's first rodeo, buddy?
Yeah, where Nurse and I think maybe it was McEwen both went off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that could have been bad. His lid came off really when he needed it, and it's just I just like, what the fuck, man? Like, Oh man, you get mad at like forwards, that have a chin strap that's kind of like down here, right? Like the Todd Bertuzzi special.
Yeah, Smitty.
You'd think goalies would need it more. I mean, they're putting their head in front of 100-mile-an-hour slap shots, and it's coming off at, they look like a bobblehead doll to get it off, and then it comes off, and.
Well, I'm telling you, it doesn't come off mid-save, mid-shot. It comes off when you're bumped or collided or you're in a schmuck or in a scrum, and that's when you want your lid to come off because it's an automatic whistle and it's a free timeout. I'm telling you, man, that's by design.
Yeah, I think Rolly actually invented that back in the day.
For sure. Well, Dominic Hasek before that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this? Like, Duncan Keith was mesmerized by our power play after his first game. What do you think about the power play? I mean, it's kind of a tap in here for you, but does it look better to you this year than it did last even? More dangerous?
I don't know why you got to reference Duncan Keith in there to talk about the power play. Nice name drop. Duncan Keith being mesmerized by it.
Because I know it bothers you. That's why.
Oh, thanks for pushing my buttons. You really need to. You should do more of that tonight.
You wanted to get after it, so let's go.
Oh, poke then, buddy. Let's go. Yeah, I don't know. Duncan Keith mesmerized, maybe because he's never played with the two best players in the history of hockey on his line before. Like, of course he's going to be mesmerized. There's never been anything like these two. Gretzky's the greatest player to ever play the game. Yager's the greatest European to ever play the game. At the end of the day, those guys aren't as good as what McDavid is. If you put McDavid in your time machine, you said it's 2021, throw me 88 miles an hour back in the DeLorean. McDavid with his coaching, his skill, his equipment versus 1984 Gretzky. With Gretzky's training equipment and everything, McDavid's a 10-point-a-game player. I'm not even kidding. Maybe more. Like these two guys are two of the top 5 players to ever play the game. 2 years ago, we had the best power play in the history of what? I don't know, like quote me, come at me, I guess, whatever. 40 years or something. We had the best power play in. We were 5% better than the second best power play in the league. And then somehow last season it gets better. Was it going to get better again this year? Sure, man. McDavid's better. Dreisaitl's better. Nurse and Barry have more experience there. We've got Puljujarvi as a real net front presence. We won't have Tippett going to chase on all the time. If it's not going to be Puljujarvi, it's got Hyman. We've got that 1-3-1 that we play is potentially the best power play in the history of the NHL, and it may go down as the best power play in the history of the NHL. What do you think?
I think with the addition of Zach Hyman and Yessi inevitably getting more time, and you take Barry off and you put Nurse out there, and
exactly,
and it's not really much of a drop off, so
exactly.
I like it. I think, James Neal and Alex Chason were decent net front presence, but I think Hyman and Puljujarvi are going to be that much better. And, it's flying maybe a little bit under the radar, but I think Puljujarvi's shots improved over the summer. He's hammering the puck. He's hammering the puck. He's
skating faster. Man, he had hip surgery. He's got, last year was the first time he was getting used to that new body. Yeah. Now how old is he, man? 22, 23?
Yeah, I think so.
Like that's, he's growing 21. He's growing into that body and, finally becoming a man, finally growing into that new hip, finally getting strong, finally getting confident. You've probably had knee and ankle injuries. It's a mind fuck to try to trust that body part when you're going into a high pressure situation and, a thing like a hip or a knee or an ankle. Like man, Bob Stalker said it 16 times tonight that Jesse Puljujarvi is taking the next step into becoming a absolute performance productive forward. So I think it's been great to see that. You want to talk about that power play, like who I'll ask you questions to answer your question. Who would you rather have? Okay, on a 1-3-1, who would you rather have playing a half wall than McDavid or Nuge? Who? 2 past number 1 overall picks, the best player in the world. Who else would you want?
Yeah, no, I mean, if you go back in sort of recent history, you've got your Doug Weight, you've got your Alashemsky, and those are the guys that can do kind of the things that these guys are doing. But then after that, you had nothing else, right? So now you got Leon, on that right side, dropping down on one knee, looking like a young Brett Hall, hammering pucks home. I mean, that's quite the weapon, and
Well, he plays the middle so well because he can pass both ways off his backhand and his forehand. Who else would you rather have in the middle than a Rocket Richard 50-goal scorer that can play off both sides of his stick as good as the other?
And it's
like
such
check.
Is such a brilliant passer. I mean, that's
right.
As good a goal scorer he is. He's probably a better passer, and that's unbelievable. He's a 50-goal man.
Right. And is playing a power play with a similar player that you could say the same thing about. Is McDavid a better passer or shooter or scorer? And, he's a better passer. That's obvious. But, man, who else could put up that argument? Those two guys. That now all of a sudden the depth on the quarterback with Nurse and or Barry slipping in there. And then depth on the net front presence on your tip of your umbrella on the 1-3-1. Now you got them. Those kind of puck retrieval defensemen that have the net front presence and touch are so rare, man. Like to go and win a board battle like a Mikko Rantanen can every single time, or Zach Hyman is known for it in Toronto. Jesse Puljujarvi is unbelievable. You can get the puck off those guys, right? And so now you've got those guys tracking pucks into the corner, winning cycles and getting it to the front of the net, and they have the touch that Chason had, if not maybe better. They've got the inside touch like a James Van Riemsdyk. So I don't know, man. I do. I think this power play could get better. Is that ridiculous?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Ridiculous that it could get better, or ridiculous that I said it?
No, ridiculous that it could get better. I mean, yeah. You'd be...
I'm not out of line, though, right?
No. What do you think about... This happened against Calgary when we were trailing, and it was all night tonight, going back to McClellan go-to move of pairing up Connor and Leon and I guess JP on the wing.
If it's going to take that move over from Todd McClellan. So yeah, it's like, so what? It's a big controversy now that we're going to play those two guys together.
Well, yeah. I mean, I want to know what you think about doing it, and then I'll tell you what I think of it.
What do I think about Tippett going to McDavid and Draisaitl as a pair? I think he did it last preseason game, and it caused a stir, which I don't understand because it's something that they're going to have to do in the regular season anyways. So why wouldn't you try it? That's what the preseason is for. I think that's good coaching by Tippett to try and see how that chemistry flies. They, got to play at least a couple of shifts together before the regular season starts. It doesn't matter what coach it's been to Tippett and McClellan for the last 5 years. That's been the go-to. If you're down by a goal, you put those two together, man. It's, I think Low Tide said it today. It's like a guaranteed goal. How can you not go to that? So for them to be practicing it, for them to be looking at it, I think it's not asinine by any stretch. In fact, it excites me more than it ever has, because at the end, now we, ultimately we essentially have the best top 9 we've had since 1990. And so if we do have to go to McDavid and Draisaitl or McDry on the top line, tell me the right winger. I think you said Puljujarvi. Would you be upset if it was Fogle? Would you be upset if it was a healthy Cassian? Would you be upset if it was a Yamamoto? Stick any of those guys there. You still have a second line of Nuge, Hyman. You know what I mean? Like, stick Yamo up there, or Cassian, who's got some experience, or whoever up on that top line with Draisaitl and McDavid. Even if it's Puljujarvi and you have those 3 big horses, you've still got Fogle, Hyman, Nuge as a second line, or even a Yamo to slip in there, or even a Holloway, or even... I think this is the most exciting time to try McDavid and Draisaitl together, because if we can get them on that guaranteed goal type of magic on the ice, and then throw a second or a third line out there that can still hum, that'll be fun, man.
God damn it, we're agreeing here.
Next topic.
Yeah, no, we
can't disagree on everything. There is some common sense to this podcast.
There's a lot of people that think you have to put McDavid as your first line center, Leon's your second.
Who cares?
Well, now that there's some depth in the forward ranks, you can load up that line and still have some other stuff coming at you that has potential to do some damage.
Yeah.
I'd like to see more, push from Nuge and Hyman, and they had tourists tonight, and I thought they were okay, but I'd like to see some actual results come from that. I'm liking Warren Fogle a lot, and Derek Ryan has skill, and he's going to be just fine.
It's I like those two together.
It's shitty that Cass kind of went down tonight, and like I say, hopefully it's not too serious, because in games where you need it, that could be a real good line. That could be a line that inflicts a lot of damage. What are your thoughts on Benson?
I didn't think he played bad. I didn't think he had a terrible preseason. I just don't think he played good enough.
Yeah.
When you got Lamborghini Perlini scoring at a goal per game clip, you've got Turris that is clearly looks hungry at the very least. He's always had that hockey IQ. I'm a little bit scared because I find the preseason can benefit a player similarly to how an AHL regular season game could. Like, some of those not so fleet of foot guys can make a lot of different mistakes or have an extra split second in those games, and I think that's where Turris maybe lacks. So we'll see, but at the end of the day, I think there's still some depth there too, right? Whether Holloway steps up or somebody else that can fill that role, I'm not that concerned about it.
Yeah.
Perlini, that's who I was looking for.
Yeah. And this
I don't know.
This is going to get a little interesting because Yamo's kind of banged up a little bit. Don't know what the
always will be, man.
Don't know what the full extent of what happened to Cassian is going to be. So the right
side, open a door for Benson.
The right side is battered a little bit. So yeah, I wonder what goes on. I mean,
yeah, it'll be interesting.
Colton Sevier never hurt us, but he didn't really help us. So I don't know what they end up doing with that PTO. And
yeah, it probably comes down to his penalty killing. I think that's really the difference that I saw.
You just led me to another question I want to ask you.
Hammer away, man.
How many shorthanded goals do you think Nuge and Hyman are going to score this year?
Okay, I'm not even going to puss away from an actual number. They're going to combined?
Yeah.
6.
6, wow.
But it won't be as many as Brad Marchand.
Well, there you go. So you think the two of them together are going to have 6 shorties?
Yeah.
Do you have some knowledge to this? Like, do you know how many Hyman had last year, or are you just taking?
No, I don't know if I looked at shorthanded goals. I just the way that he could retrieve pucks, I think is pretty, glaring on the penalty kill, and Nuge has always had that touch. So I just think it takes either one of them to get a break and go that way. They're both dangerous. They're both able to shoot. They're both able to skate. And I was gonna say 5, but I didn't want to be too much of a wuss.
No, 6 is definitely going all in.
Didn't Marchand have like 6 or 7 himself?
Yeah, but he's got a knack for it.
Wow.
I was watching him tonight, and I'm thinking, at least 3. So I'm being kind of very lame there. You're not as bold as you, but I definitely I see that they have the ability to, make some stuff happen shorthanded just by watching a couple of their kills tonight. I think
yeah, for sure. What did you say in particular that made you want to ask that?
Just on one of the kills tonight. I'm looking at them and in the way they picked up the puck, and I think Hyman had it. Nuge was kind of leaking out a little early, and I'm thinking, okay, once these guys learn that they can, go for it a little bit, they'll start doing some damage. So
Zach Hyman didn't have any shorties last year. He had one in each of the previous 3 years, but he had 4 of them in 16-17.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard yesterday on the Gregor show. Jim Playfair was on, and he said from the top of the circles to the net in his own zone, he's as fast as any defender in the league, and that was in reference to Duncan Keith. So,
sorry.
And I wanted to touch on this a little bit because that's important a little bit, but I think really honestly a lot of defending, one of the important parts is, not making stupid pinches and not getting beat at the far blue line and leading to breakaways. I think that's a huge part of defending, and that's the part I'm interested in watching.
Isn't that Playfair just giving a politician's answer? That's like saying Duncan Keith is fast as long as he doesn't have to skate farther than 10 feet. How is that relevant?
Well, if you're into a cycle,
quick.
if you're into a cycle game, a heavy cycle game, it's pretty important.
Sure, you can be quick like a little jitterbug in the defensive end, and that might help you in the cycle. And I know Duncan Keith isn't that fun to play against. He can be a vicious little prick, but I don't think he's scared either. I just think that, sure, I'll agree with Playfair. Sure, he might be one of the fastest, but when it's outside of the top of the circles and beyond, he's one of the slowest. I still see him having a hard time closing gaps. I think his decision making is okay. He's not confident in his decision making on when to pinch and close gaps, and he just looks awkward sometimes. He panics.
Okay, I'm going to ask you this from a left wing kind of standpoint, but to me, you back off, but once the opposition nears the blue line, that's when you attack your blue line.
Sure. Till some forward decides that his edge work is better than yours and fakes you one way, and you're not athletic enough, or you don't have the edge work skill to get back and recover. Look what Conor McDavid did to Morgan Rielly, man. That's an edge work play. Remember that game as another example that Conor McDavid came back from his collarbone, and it was at Columbus he played against, and sent two guys from Columbus sliding into the corner face first into the boards. Like that's edge work. That's the new NHL. That's how guys skate now. That's how guys create space. That's how guys. Duncan Keith does. You're talking what I learned and what you learned when we were in midget, man. Yeah, you don't let them gain your blue line. You close the gap. You pinch. If they get past you, you let your goalie take the shot and you take away the pass. And man, the NHL is more than that now, Durst. You got to watch guys' feet. You got to watch their triangle.
You watch their feet. You're burnt. You're dead.
Well, it's the whole triangle, right? It's your stick and your 2 feet, and it's talked about a lot. There's nobody that attacks a triangle in hockey like Conor McDavid. He does things that, he does things without. People talk about it here. I'll take a step back. People talk all the time about how Conor McDavid, I think you actually said it last podcast, that Conor McDavid looks faster when he has the puck. Yeah, like that's impossible, right? And I'm sure you recognize that that's impossible. Nobody gets faster when they have the puck. He could maybe stay the same speed when he doesn't have the puck. But here's the big difference that I see in Conor McDavid, that few other guys in the NHL can do, that I don't think many guys in the history of hockey have been able to do. And that is use your edge work as part of your deke. There's guys that used to be able to toe drag. There's guys that used to be able to give a little shimmy shake, head fake, and get a guy going the other way. It's not even like that anymore, man. Conor McDavid shifts one way, sends Morgan Rielly 3 feet on the fake, thinking that that's the way he's going to attack his triangle like he always does. And boom, edge work. He tries different things when he has the puck. That's the difference. He doesn't need to make those edge work type of plays and magical skating decisions when he doesn't have the puck. So he skates the same speed with it. He does these magical things that, combine head fake with deking with edge work, and he has guys fucking mesmerized and floored, man. They're watching him while the puck's already gone bar down. That's the difference with McDavid that we've never seen in any other player in the history of hockey.
That Morgan Rielly goal was Top Gun. I'm going to hit the brakes, and he's going to fly right by.
Yeah, for sure.
There was a change of speed.
That's the Columbus goal where they just went like crashed into the boards.
Yeah, but on Morgan, he slowed up and went to the same speed as Rielly, and then he hit the gas.
It's like you talk about hesitation dribbles.
Yeah, he got him paying attention to the puck a little bit and mesmerized, and then went the other way. And once you looked down and looked for the puck, he went the other way and he was gone.
Yeah.
And in a basketball sense, he broke his ankles.
Right. That's what you talk about, right? Like your hesitation dribble, your little, get the guy thinking one thing and get him looking at the ball, and you go the other way. And by the time his ankles are broken, you've already dunked over Sean Bradley.
Right. And, he was doing something that night that really we haven't seen before on the ice. That was opening up a new window into, other things that we can do.
He does it night after night after night, buddy. Like, that's how special this guy is, and how blessed we are to have Conor McDavid on our team, that we can watch this type of hockey night in, night out, and no matter what the score is at the end of the night, be entertained.
See, the problem you get into, like, as a defender and you're defending, you usually want to push guys to the outside because you figure that you've got the wall as your friend and you can hammer him into the wall. Well, with Conor, you have to be cognizant not to let him go inside route, but if you let him go outside, he's got those 1.5 strides. He's by you, and he's got a breakaway on the net anyway.
So fun.
So you're kind of how do you defend that? You just walk with him all the way to your goalie. Like if you attack, he's going to go by you. Like that's the ultimate challenge. That's probably why all these players, now they figure, well, just take his feet out and see if a call gets made. Because what else do you have? You don't have.
That's going to end though when you have a 50% power play. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to be able to do that anymore. But we're talking like Conor McDavid has an offensive arsenal that's like comparable to James Harden or Kyrie Irving, where he gives you the pump fake, and if you go for that, then great, but he's going to either beat you with the mid-range jump shot, or he's going to beat you with the hesitation dribble if you bite on that and go underneath of you. If you bite on that, he's going to shoot over top of you. Like, he's got a play to beat everybody. No matter what the D is thrown at him.
Yeah, there's a special player from the 90s Bulls era that I would compare him to more now. But you got to start winning some championships.
Yeah, it's true. The more that basketball analogy goes, they really are Pippen and Jordan, aren't they? I put out a poll on Twitter that McDavid was LeBron, and the most heat I got was that McDavid isn't LeBron. It's different. And Jordan was magical. Jordan was that type of see me now you don't kind of type player, right? I mean, think of Space Jam. He had the special sauce for crying out loud.
Michael's secret
sauce. Thanks.
Secret stuff.
Secret stuff. So the McDavid's clearly got the secret stuff as well, and Pippen is kind of that bulldog like Draisaitl, right? It's gonna be fun to watch. I hope they get 2 championships, let alone 6 championships together. It's gonna be interesting.
You talk about the Riley play. It's almost like when Jordan would ball fake you, like
he did to Isaiah Thomas.
Just unreal.
Just to make fun of him. Okay, you've been shooting all these bullets at me. I got to ask you a question. Last time we talked was a couple weeks ago, and unfortunately we had to talk about vaccines and players and how it's affecting the team. And we did lead to a conversation somewhere down there where Ken Holland made what you and I both agreed was kind of a pointed statement when he was asked in the media scrum about giving Archibald a timeline, if you will. And I think the verbatim perhaps answer Ken Holland gave was, ask me again in a week or so. And I had asked you at that point in time, was that giving Archie a timeline? Was that a threat? Was that him looking for a trade partner? How many days was it between I said that and all of a sudden the Oilers releasing a statement that Archie's got antibodies? Like, should we talk about the Archibald antibody gate, or what do you want to talk about? My question for you is, I think that statement put out is pretty convenient. I think the fact that all of a sudden Archibald's got antibodies is pretty convenient. And the fact that it's barely been talked about since and swept under a rug's been pretty inconvenient too. What do you think?
Yeah,
it's the easy way out for everybody, isn't it, bud? I'm calling a spade here. I think that that's bullshit. I think they put out that statement to make Archibald look, oh, he doesn't have to get the vaccine. He's got antibodies. The Oilers did everything they can, and that's our take on that. And it sounded like a bunch of kablooey. It sounded about as much of bullshit as the Edmonton Elks statement on Joey Moss not being able to enter the locker room. So go ahead and say we're there if you want. I don't want to care.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the only person that if what you're suggesting has any merit to it, I think the only person that really benefits is Josh Archibald.
And the organization, because they have
I don't know.
They don't have to go through the fight. They don't have the media attention. They still put out a pro vaccination statement and a politically correct COVID statement. They look like they're following all the orders. They don't have to make any hard rules. They get their out. Archibald gets his out, and nobody talks about it again. Pretty freaking convenient pie, man. Baked at $3.50.
Yeah, I don't know.
You had a lot of comments on Joey Moss. I know that's something I agree with you on as well. It's a tough organization to support these days if that's the type of decision Sutherland is making. And I don't think that they really addressed the actual Robin Brownlee accusation.
They didn't
whatsoever.
Yeah. I don't think that touches on that. I don't think the Elks deserve, honestly, the benefit of the doubt on this either after, what they did to Dwayne, 49-year employee and ready to start his 50th year. And your services are no longer required, sir.
Yeah,
so
distractions in the dressing room. What kind of distractions? In that 49-year history, it was there. They were the club that people strove to be. The Elks, or previously named club, were the upper echelon of what CFL franchises tried to be. I don't feel like we're there anymore, man. I've never been a huge Eskimos / Elks franchise fan. I grew up in Saskatchewan. I'm a Riders fan. I don't bleed CFL, but I do enjoy it. But this is kind of sad to see, being an Edmontonian and watching the Elks operate like this.
Eskimos / Elks back in the day, they were the New England Patriots before the Patriots were the Patriots without the cheating and scandals. They were the class of the CFL.
That's right.
And the mighty have fallen. I remember going to games where there was almost you couldn't find a seat in Commonwealth. So it's the CFL is not the same as when I was in high school, that's for sure. But some of this stuff, it has an odor to it. And I said on Twitter, I didn't think it was possible for me to hate, an Edmonton sports personality really more than Peter Pocklington. And I'm kind of there now. I think the statement from the Moss family, I just...
It's like they were paid off, man.
Well...
They had their agreement when he was probably allegedly asked to not be in the dressing room anymore. I'm sure that there was some sort of expectation that was discussed between the Moss family and, yes, Eskimos / Elks at that time. And that's the statement they're going to stick to. Why does the Moss family want a bunch of negative attention? They know the truth.
Well, it came from the nephew too, so that kind of I don't know, that just, I don't know how I feel about that really. So I don't know. It just, there's a stink to it for sure, and the handling of Ed Hervey and the Tillman dealio, and it just, I don't know. It's not the same run organization that I remember, when I used to go watch Gizmo and Downtown Eddie Brown and those guys, and
for sure
Ricky Ray, Damon Allen. Yeah, I don't know. In the last few years, I probably since when I was in grade 11, I lived in Massachusetts, so shortly after that, I became a Patriots fan. So followed Tom Brady and his career and all of that, and kind of, I would still enjoy going to a CFL game a few times a year. I went probably about 6 years ago. Took my sons and had a good time, and it's still not it's still entertaining, but I don't know. It just I got a bad taste in my mouth right now, and yeah. They're not a very good club right now, so I guess that makes it easier not to pay attention to them. But I've got no time for this. It doesn't sit well with me. It seems really contrived, and I don't think they've earned the benefit of the doubt. So I'm happy to watch the Oilers. My Red Sox are in the playoffs, although they got pounded tonight. But yeah, Tampa's a good team.
Get me started on the Blue Jays. All I got to say to all of that is Massachusetts.
Hey now, you got her.
Just for you.
Blue Jays get some help in the bullpen. They'll be a pretty good team.
Yeah, man, that was the hardest part to watch just throughout that stretch because those points were valuable, as you can see. What an almost Cinderella story, Like when that series hadn't even started versus the Orioles yet, and we needed to win all three, and the Red Sox needed to do this, and the Mariners needed to do that, and the Yankees needed to do that. It sounded like you needed to drop 15 Plinko discs down and have all 14 or 15 of them all land in the same spot. And there we go. We won all three versus the Orioles. There we go. The Yankees gave us a little bit of a chance. The Mariners let us hang in there. It was like crazy to watch that 3-day stretch. That was fun baseball, but man, I can't believe that ends up being the Yankees and the freaking Red Sox in that playoff game, man. I really wanted it to be the Jays and the Sox. I hate the Yankees as much as I can't stand seeing Boston win. I can't stand seeing the Yankees win more. And yeah, I don't think it was their time, and I don't think either one of them are going to get past Tampa Bay anyway. But would have just been fun to complete that Cinderella story, like to have all those Plinko discs fall in place would have been pretty cool, man.
Yeah, Jays will have they'll be back right in the race again next year. I think they're an up and coming club. There's some exciting ball players there for sure to get behind. I think Vlad Jr. is going to be, next 10, 12 years, he's going to be in that race for AL MVP, and he's a fun kid to watch, and he's a lot like his dad. I don't think he's as wild and careless of a swinger, but because Vladdy would hit things at his ankles out of the park, and
he hit pitches that bounced, dude.
Oh man.
I'm not kidding. Vladimir, you probably don't even know this about me, but Vladimir Guerrero Sr. is my favorite baseball player of all time. Like I've got McFarlane figurines and rookie cards, and so to see his kid come up and get drafted by my favorite team, and now to have him come and being taken even not as a blue stud pick in the draft, like where they got him in that draft was pretty awesome, and they just kind of let him grow and blossom, and all of a sudden develops a fastest bat speed in the history of baseball. Like, dude, that guy's exit velocity is off the charts. He's becoming a specimen in batting practice like it used to be watching Barry Bonds and Cecil Fielder and those guys, right? Or Jose Canseco, like just almost post-human bat speed creation, which is so fun to watch. But Vladdy's doing it with good eye. You said his dad swung at bouncing pitches and ones over his head. Vladdy's on base percentage is sick. Like he took a lot of walks. His batting percentage was the best in baseball. Like, he's how old? 21. This is gonna be fun to watch.
I didn't see the end of it, but did he hit for the Triple Crown, or was he right close?
He was close for a while, but I think he was like 10 back in RBIs with 3 games to go or something like that. He was second in home runs, only 1 behind. I think when he hit his 47th, I think that was when he when he passed George Bell and Jose Canseco for most home runs in a single season, getting second behind Cecil Fielder. But that was also that 47th home run, I think, was also the one that he passed Johnny Bench for being the youngest or second youngest 22-year-old to hit that many home runs in a season as well. So just oozing potential. And you're probably fact checking me while I'm doing this, but my guess would be that he was either first or second in home runs, first in batting average, and I think he was third or second in RBIs. I don't think he got all the way there.
Not fact checking you on that. Just
you should have.
You
should have. I'm curious.
Well, no, just seeing that it's almost like we're still in the North Division or the All Canadian Division, because guess who we play Saturday and kick off the season Wednesday against?
Calgary.
Vancouver Canucks.
Vancouver? I should have looked ahead for that.
Yeah, so we got like
the home opener is Vancouver?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
okay, right.
Yeah. So,
and then it's Calgary on Saturday?
No, Vancouver.
The 16th?
No, that's right.
Yeah. So first weekend game is Calgary. Okay, so yeah, well, I wasn't totally wrong. But so Vancouver and Calgary first up off the hop?
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be fun. Let's hope that Battle of Alberta brews up.
I really liked Mike Smith tonight. I thought he was pretty good. I thought he was like insane with the puck movement tonight. Like I think it's pretty rare. 3 times, I think it was at least 3 times in the same game, he caught the Canucks on a change, and sprung guys right at the blue line for good chances.
He's got a better first pass than Cody Ceci.
Oh, I thought CC was better tonight, but there's I think he was starting.
He looks uncomfortable, man.
I think he was starting to settle in, but to be honest with you, in that pairing, I think Keith covers him up, and does
what?
kind of, yeah, like behind the net. I thought Keith was the guy that was doing more there to get the puck
man. If
back.
they're anything more than a third pairing defenseman, we're screwed. This really honestly means we need Bushbaum to take a step up into the top. It just like, dude, from our episode 1 of our first flipping podcast, we talked about this, and like that money that he paid Cece and Keith, he paid top dollar $5.5 million a season plus Caleb Jones to get this stupid intangible of leadership that maybe we need, maybe we don't, but yeah. God thankfully paid top dollar for it. Sarcasm. It was haphazard. It was stupid. And now that money, like, keep Caleb Jones and have Seth there. That's all Chicago did. Why do we need CC? And we didn't need 2 more number 6 defensemen. I've said that then, and I think that they're playing out that role right now. Man, can you imagine if we had Seth Jones and Darnell Nurse as our top pairing? Like, how stupid is the organization to not use Caleb Jones as the bait themselves and try and do that? Maybe Caleb doesn't want to come. I don't know. But maybe he does. Can you imagine? What would we have if Nurse and Jones as a top pairing? Not only just like how strong, that's the best top pairing in the league. Look at the racial implications. Look at how many times has any NHL organization ever iced a top pairing defenseman that are both black? They missed the boat, man. And now we're sitting here watching Cece and Keith, and it's like someone's turning a knife in my back every time I see it, because I was right. I know I'm right. It was a terrible use of our cap space, and it's the biggest mistake Holland made this offseason. And I just hope it doesn't burn us, man, because we're gonna make the playoffs. We've got this power play. We've got regular season Oilers hockey figured out. Tippett knows how to get us there. What's going to happen when we get there? We can't play barn burner hockey. We don't have Grant Fuhrer to win by 1 every night. We don't.
Well, if our power play keeps getting lots of chances, we're going to beat teams just on the power play. But
how many chances did we get the last 2 playoffs? I'll remind you that Conor McDavid didn't draw a penalty in the last 7 playoff games. Not 1.
Yeah. Personally, I don't think that can keep going.
Well, it sure got a lot of attention. Like, it'd be a sad state of hockey if it does keep going. That said, what's Einstein's version of insanity?
Right.
I would expect we're going to see the same thing. When has it been different in the last decade of hockey? Don't change anything. You expect different results. It's insanity, Durst. Insanity.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think the overhaul of our forwards is gonna help. I'm seeing that there is a little bit of settling in on the back end too. I mean, blame whoever you want to blame, but tonight was.
Well, maybe you shouldn't have spent 2 weeks isolating in a hotel room, and you could have got some chemistry going. That'd be good leadership.
There you go. Second game tonight, he seemed to settle in for me. I thought he was better today.
Better than what, man? I think
better
he panicked.
Better than the first.
Is there any stats on how many times you ice a puck? I'd like to know that. High and hard doesn't work anymore, bud. Like, he just fires it out. Fuck. Okay. Keith he's brutal. If we're gonna keep talking about Keith, then we probably fired off enough pucks off the crossbars and taken enough coincidental minors for one night. But talk about something else, we can go. Whatever.
What do you think our record is come next Sunday when we're back on the air?
1-0, buddy. Oh, Sunday, 2-0.
I think so. Yeah, I think they can.
Why not?
Yeah, I hope so. Anyways, I mean, they should.
We can't lose. Have you been watching the preseason? We're indestructible.
Well, we found a way to lose against the Jets, but we didn't really dress much of a team that night. So. Yeah, no, exactly. You know what? I thought we're starting to look better. I was enjoying the hockey tonight. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple hiccups. Gave up a couple of power play goals, but I don't fault Keith for that second penalty of his. The first one, yeah, but the second one, he pushed the guy down. Like, you're a defender. The guy's in prime real estate. And he
pictures on the scorecard, Durst.
And he gave him a shove down, and you're going off for holding. That to me, that was funny. I laughed at that. Holding's this, not this. So
you sound like you're pretty sure of that, and I'll tell you something.
I am.
But give you a top 10 list, and you'll give me 35. Like, if I had $1 for every decision you stood beside, I'd be homeless.
Bring on Lachansky and see what he says. I think he'll agree with me. Holding, you gotta pull a jersey, not shove a guy down.
Yeah, that's probably true. It doesn't take away from how much of a decisive grenade you are.
Ooh. There you go.
Right?
I am nuclear. That is me.
Mm-hmm. If I had $1 for every decision you wafered on, I could probably afford Duncan Keith's salary myself.
Well, there you go. Maybe you should start paying him.
I do. I'm a season ticket holder. I do pay a goddamn salary. Jesus, you know every button to push tonight, don't you?
So you're going to get to see him firsthand. Where are your seats?
We are fifth row pie section. I think it's 124 or something like that. It's the section that starts 3 seats wide or whatever, 2 seats wide, and we're only 5 rows up, so there's only like 6 seats in our row or something like that, which is nice. Easy in, easy out. We've got the extra wide seats and aisle seats, so it's nice to get in. We're right by the exits, so it's get in easy, get out easy, and
you only have one. You only have one corner that you don't really see good, right?
Bit of a blind corner down on the far side. I think you know what? Those are our old seats. So I think we moved up to row 10 or 11 now, to be honest, actually, now that I think this through it. And you can see a lot more of that far corner than you used to be able to, for sure. But we split our tickets up this year. So we got a couple friends that are going halvesies with us, I guess. And so we've, got just a chunk of the season tickets, and we kind of strategically took a lot of our games towards the end of the year just because we wanted to see how this pandemic settled out before we go jumping in that barn. So truth be told, we've got the Philadelphia game coming up on the 27th, and other than that, I think our games are into December, January, February, March, and April for the most part. And I stocked up on games right at the end of the year. And I think it's going to be a close conference. I think it's going to be a close division. Anaheim and San Jose aside, Yeah, I don't know, man. I think anybody can have a run there. Vegas probably is on the top, and then between Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, Seattle, I think everybody's kind of gonna be able to float around in there.
Yeah, I'm questioning Vegas a little bit because I think they're going to miss Marc-Andre Fleury way more than they were willing to admit.
Yeah, Leonard's good there too, man. In fact, I put a futures bet on Leonard to win the Vezina and about 4 hours ago. Speaking of bets I made, how's this for the Oilers tonight? I had them on the three-way money line. I had them to win the first period. I had them to score the first goal, and I had them to win the game in regulation. The only thing I missed on was on puck line because they were a goal and a half. So if they'd have scored an empty netter, I would have clean sweeped all my bets on the game tonight.
Yeah, and there was a chance. Well, I mean, Smith took a shot at it and just about had it, but Draisaitl got the puck at the blue line there, and I think he was looking for someone specific to get that puck to for a shot at the empty net. And I don't even think it went out of our end there. Do you remember that little sequence there? He got the puck kind of close to the blue line, and
I can't off the top of my head.
And he was looking around for somebody to give it to, and I think like it ended up actually staying in our zone. But he himself from there could have shot it down. Won you some money, more money.
Won me some more. Did you miss me, bud?
Oh man, you know
You're not sure.
Well, no, we're that old married couple. You know, we gotta be together. We gotta be together. You
gotta be together. You just need to shut your mouth. Stop playing with boys from Calgary that can't fill my shoes.
Well, I mean, you're in size 6, so.
Come on, man. If Jason had a podcast on a podcast spike rack, Puck and Pigskin podcast would be flour.
I've never heard the pigskin part of the Puck and Pigskin part.
Peanuts, pucks, pigskin. I don't know. He loves all of it. That's all I got to say for tonight.
I think we talk more football tonight than he has.
Well, and his show's focused on hockey then, and he's a Flames fan? Oh, that sounds like a tire fire waiting to start.
That's why you got to have it, multifaceted, because...
Yeah. Talk about the Flames all day. You're going to want to just crawl in a closet and cry yourself to sleep in the dark.
And just when the whole Eichel trade, going to Calgary stopped, now it's picked up again because of something Friedman tweeted out the other day.
That whole situation's sad. I feel bad for both those parties, to be honest. It's sad. It'll go to an arbitrator, I'm sure, and somebody will have to figure that out because it doesn't sound like either party's going to budge, and that's just kind of sad for the organization and hockey, period, really. Guy shouldn't be able to not go without treatment,
Let him get a surgery.
Something.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's, I don't know. Anyway, my man, I think, we've kicked around enough snow tonight. And
taken enough coincidental minor roughing in the scrums for an evening.
Yeah.
Oh, it was fun. I didn't mind palming you in the face a few times tonight. I missed you, whether you want to admit that you missed me or not. So.
Well, you're the palm of your gloves still smell, so we'll have to wait till next Sunday to get back at her. I thought Fogel was gonna drop the gloves right after Cassian got off the ice there. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. I know exactly what you're talking about. Speaking of dropping the gloves, I thought Smith was gonna do it earlier in that scrum too, but
yeah. We missed this, but after Leon kind of got bumped there, McDavid kind of took the guy, gave him the calf roping 2-minute minor there.
I've seen McDavid try to get himself some space a few times. He's getting a little chippier, man. I don't mind that. It's that whole Mark Messier thing. If you lead with an elbow a few times, the guy will think twice before he does it the second.
Yeah, that's the last thing I'll say is you were going to talk about. Duncan Keith, all the tape you watch while you were on IR and stuff like that, and you talk about Messier, and that's what I think if you were going to go down that train, you're only as good as your last shift. So what you did last year, the year before, those cups you won in the past, those Olympics you won in the past, right now it doesn't matter. It's what you do next time you're on the ice. So hopefully it's a good one.
That's right, buddy. I agree.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, and you'll catch us next Sunday, 9 o'clock. We're switching to Sundays throughout the season, and hopefully we're talking about a couple Oilers win. Keep your sticks on the ice and keep reaching for the stars. Love everybody. Peace out.
Good game, Durs.
Woo!
Good game, buddy. Good game. Thought we did well. No soft goals.
That was
Nothing
all
easy
right.
by us.
That was all right.